Man, it's boring as hell out here. There's gotta be something else to do.
I command you to play Touhou Lost Word.
And what are the benefits for me?
Show 'em, boys.
Whoa. Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I better get going. I better play this game. Looks like I have to review this game.
Touhou Lost Word, otherwise known as that When We're Told mobile game that you see everyone complain about. Yeah, it is a huge collection of art, characters, music, and story from the Touhou series, but it's also yeah, you can see where I'm going with this. It's a controversial game in the community that I decided to play a few months ago and let it take over my life. So the question is, why is this game so controversial? To begin, Touhou in mobile gaming has only recently took off. In 2019, the first Touhou mobile game was released, Touhou Cannonball, and it was a warm success when it first released. It opened the gateway for many to learn more about Touhou, and seeing the demand for such a game, Zun decided to license another mobile game with the people at Good Smile, known for these dingus figures, and developers Next Ninja, known for creating, whatever these things are, to create another magnum opus, Lost Word. With pre-registration beginning in July 2019 in Japan only, the community was kinda hyped for this cool new project. Too bad the people had to wait 9 months later until the game released in Japan on the 30th of April 2020. This was when the whole world was on lockdown, and with nothing else to do really, people downloaded the game en masse and became rather popular in Japan. So much so that an international and Chinese version was planned to release a year later, and in May 2021, the international English version released. And that was when the game got really popular in my opinion. I mean, it was a runner-up for the most exciting award in Google Play's 2020 awards, losing to something that I have no interest in. So clearly with that little backstory, we know that the game got popular, but the next question is, what does the game offer that makes it a success? 5 things: gameplay, story, characters, fandom, and gacha. Those 5 things synergize together to make whatever this mess is, so why don't we talk about all of them? Gameplay is what makes or breaks a game, quite obviously. You wouldn't want to play a Touhou game that gives you a virus, right? As described, it is a role-playing gacha game, so already there are some expectations of what the game should be about and what it should accomplish. Let's take a look at the elements of an RPG, totally not stolen from this Wikipedia list. Story and setting. The story takes place in the land of Gensokyo, where an outsider, you, randomly arrives in Gensokyo with no rhyme or reason. You have no memory of what happened, but you possess a strange journal that records all of your memories of what happened. Reimu Hakurei encounters you and takes you under her wing for the time being. You both later meet Yukari Akumo, who explains that you have came to the land via a blue crystal found in the shape of a perfect cube. These cubes can be found around Gensokyo, so Reimu, Marisa, and you all set off to find as many crystals as possible and prevent accidents and to send you home. The story is simple, but it gets expanded upon via the chapters and various acts, which I will elaborate on later. Many people have said that the story is the best thing about Lost Word, so that's nice to hear. However, most of the times when you experience a story event, you will engage in a combat scenario. Oh yeah, speaking of which, combat. The combat is the meat of the game, the cheeseburger of the Happy Meal if you will. If you ever played an RPG before, you know the obvious. Select an attack that you will use with all of your party members, maybe some special items to help you, let the enemy attack and pray that they don't kill you, rinse and repeat. The combat system is what makes RPGs stand out from one another, and the gimmick that Lost Word uses to stand out is the element system. Each character will have an assigned element type, resistance and weaknesses. Let's say for example Sanai Kochiya. She is a healing type symbolized by wood. She is resistant to water and moon type attacks, but weak to sun and metal attacks.
Metal for obvious reasons.
Her attacks also specialize in elements. Let's take for example her last word, Value of a Miracle, where it specializes in wood, metal, and earth attacks. So if some character is weak to any dimension elements, then it will break their shields and make them weaker. However, such elemental attacks may not be enough to win the battle, which is where character skills and characteristics come in. Each character has 3 skills, where it varies on what it can do depending on each character. So for Sanai, she has 2 skills that she can use to heal her party and 1 skill to repair a barrier. The 3 characteristics are usually things that happen by chance per turn. For example, with Blessed by 2 Gods, it adds a barrier back to Sanai's arsenal, but with the caveat that it only has a 15% chance of actually happening per turn. All these skills change up the gameplay quite a bit, and especially when you're in the endgame with the Scarlet Devil Tower and Elemental EX battles. items and inventory. Items are one of the things that enhances the world of the game that you are playing in. For example, there are scrolls, tiles, books, crystals, and money. What can you do with those? You can level up your character. Well, that's kinda it. Items don't do anything at all to help you in battle. It's a bit weird knowing that I have the max amount of various basic items, but I mean, hey, you can always convert them to more rare items, eh? Experience and levels. Leveling up is a common thing in most games. Whether it be a sword, enemy difficulty, or your difficulty, it exists in Lost Word. You can level up various things in your game such as your character level, skills, rank, and even story cards, which you can use to technically enhance your spell cards. Interface and graphics. What can I even say about this? The interface is supposed to give you the information needed for battle, and Lost Word, well, gives you the information needed, so yay. The gameplay is adequate. I think it serves its purpose and there's nothing really wrong about it. A complaint that I see most people having, besides the gameplay being stale after a while, is the farming aspect of the game. Most games nowadays have a farming aspect to it, which makes things really annoying, especially in gacha games. A good example of annoying farming is Genshin Impact. When people farm in Genshin, they're most likely doing it to collect rare items, and for this example, I will use artifacts since that's what I know a little bit about. For Diluc, his best artifact set is the Crimson Witch of Flame set. You fight your heart out in the hidden palace of Zhao and spend your valuable resin just to get nothing worthwhile. You repeat again and again just to get one artifact. And to remind you, you need 5 artifacts to make a full set, which means you'll have to spend more valuable resin. And not even a chance that you can complete the set with the amount of resin you possess, since resin is just so rare to come by. Okay, what does this have to do with Lost Word? The farming aspect is a bit more strange in this game, since you really don't have to farm for anything, besides maybe story cards, which have really bad drop rates on their own. Even on events where the drop rate is 2 or 3 times higher, you can only get like 1 or 2 cards per trip without lowering your friend's friendship level, or wasting too much spirit points, which is how I usually do it. Say for example, the infamous Witch of Scarlet Dreams card farm. Despite ironically sounding like the Genshin example, it's one of the best story cards in the game that can be used with so many characters, which is why it's very desirable. However, you must complete this boss on lunatic mode, which means you'll have to build the characters required to even stand a chance at beating the stage, let alone on automatic, and let alone be consistent. My team for this farm has 3 characters: Medicine, Yuka, and Embodiment of Scarlet Devil Reimu, but the third person can be anyone with an all-character last word. It takes a long time to fully max out one character, let alone 3, and it's pretty expensive too. It also sucks knowing that you're not guaranteed any of these characters, and seeing that Embodiment of Scarlet Devil Reimu and Yuka come in specific banners, and thus are very rare to come by in the first place, things aren't looking too good here. Those problems stem from the gacha system, but I'm gonna bash on the gacha system later because I gotta talk about something else. Something more happier, if you will. This game may have a lot of problems, but one thing I think everybody can universally agree that they love about this game is the collaboration between artists, circles, and everybody in between. It's crazy how much good music and art exists in this game, and the best thing about it is that 95% of all music come from various doujin circles. So I want to do a little quiz with you. Name a tall doujin circle that you really like. The one that you just thought about is probably in the game, like Iosis, Soundholic, Mutaltime, Almost Records, Beat Mario, even smaller circles like Richard AB, Aizawa, Indo Nameko, and Masame T. Yes! Plus the music videos are pretty nice to watch. And don't get me started on the artists that appear in the story cards. Seriously, we've got masterpieces like Scarlet Wind, White Wind, and some, whatever this is. Plus the game itself had a big influence on the community. You know Fumo's? There is a Yomu Fumo, but her design is based on the mysterious Swordmaster design, which people really seem to love, and that design got famous from Lost Word itself. Scarlet Witch Marisa, also known as Alt Marisa, is also a pretty famous design from this game.
I heard rumors that it originally came from this one Sun art here. Don't quote me on that.
And don't get me started on the alternative universe designs. Even though it's a total fan game that draws inspiration from the source material, there are alternative universes represented in this game via Touhou Lost Word. I don't care what others say, the Lunar War designs look freaking epic. I mean, oh yeah, Sanai, oh yeah. And the Vampire Slayer designs really remind me of Castlevania or JoJo Part 1, which I appreciate. There are also costumes to enhance your character's appearance, some looking nice, some looking, really questionable. but it's fine because they are super expensive for whatever reason. I can't believe inflation is hitting Lost Word too, but I will complain about that when we get there. Overall, the stuff that this game does for the fandom is quite nice. I compare it to Smash Ultimate where everybody's here. I mean heck, it gives more love to the PC98 universe than Zun has in the past 15 years.
Bring back Mima, you dingus.
And seeing love for the old and new Touhou media, it makes it a lot more special. So anyway, I would love to lick Yuka's feet. Hey, I'm doing a review. What do you want? Touhou Lost Word? Oh, I hope to have it on my iPod. Baka. Osaka fan 0925, everyone. And yes, this is how some people in the fandom treat the characters.
The characters are essential to make any story worth reading. So answer me this. Would you rather read a story with Mima or Mizuchi in it? If you answer Mizuchi, no one has ever said that before. Touhou is known for having a large amount of characters, and unlike other fan games, Lost Word has almost the entire cast in the series at the time of recording, give or take some Wily Beast and Weakest Creature and unconnected Marketeer characters. Unfortunately, none of the PC98 characters have appeared yet, but the fact that the people at Next Ninja were willing to show their designs give me hope. We live in a world where Mima has a higher chance in appearing in Lost Word than an official Touhou mobile game. I'm not sure if that's sad or really interesting to know, so take it as you will. The main characters are obviously Reimu, Marisa, Yukari, and Yu, but what about the rest of the cast? The rest of the cast appear randomly throughout the story. I mean, what the heck is Patchouli doing there? I say that the characters in this game shine in their own events. I will use the steps to achieve fairyhood for my example. Although not getting the spotlight often, it follows the story of Cerno, Dialse, and her fairy friends on their path to achieve fairyhood as the rite of passage and letting Okina Matata be their judge. After various adventures and fighting other fairies and spirits and meeting other citizens like Gensokyo, Cerno and her friends achieve fairyhood and decide to go play with the others in celebration. The events are simple, but they show a bit of the characters' personalities and stories that I enjoy. From what I hear, the game portrays the characters fairly accurately to the source material, albeit a bit more one-dimensional and hyperbolic, so I guess that's nice to hear. But it's also kind of weird knowing that the characters immediately befriend you instead of questioning who you are.
But what about the alternative universes, Suwa?
Oh, you brought up a good point. Currently, there are 7 universes represented in this game. Oh my goodness, what did Next Ninja do now? Well, let me explain a bit. The main universe is the L1 universe, where it's basically the main universe where most of the characters come from. From Sakuya to Kogase to Sekibanki, this is the main universe. The A-type universe, as described by the GamePress.gg page, is a blast to the past. Basically, all the nostalgic characters are here. Embodiment of Scarlet Devil Reimu, Perfect Cherry Blossom Yukari, Phantasmagoria Flower View Aya, etc, etc. The Z-type universe is the first alternative universe you encounter in the main story. This universe only includes Ult Marisa, where you can encounter her in the Scarlet Devil Tower. The R-type universe includes Negative Yomu and Tiny Yuko. This universe takes place where Saigyo Ayakashi, you know, the tree no one remembers, is in full bloom, and the strange connect between itself and the Haigugo Kodo arena. The B-type universe is where the Lunar War is happening, and it's where you can see all these funky mecha designs and show that Junko that everybody on Twitter was complaining about for a week. The E-type universe is another universe that you go to in Hifu, where the Scarlet Devil Mansion has been taken over by Phantom Blood Flandra and Ramilla. Plus, the universe of Sakuya literally says... Finally, the F-type universe, where it only has Blue Reimu, for now. There is little information about this universe besides the F standing for formula. The whole multiverse concept about this game is strange to say the least, but I kinda like it. The alternative universes allow for the team to be a bit more creative and do whatever the hell they want. In Zun's games, we would never get Vampire Slayer Flandra or Mecha Sakuya because they are just so absurd that it can only happen in Lost Word. With all these characters in play, there's gotta be a convoluted story that's difficult to follow, right? Right? For the story, I will just summarize what happened between Chapter 1 and the end of Chapter 3. So, massive spoilers to the people that care. You know that you, the protagonist, have randomly appeared in Gensokyo without reason. Kinda like how a soccer fan appeared in my life. Hey! Chapter 1 follows the story of you, Reimu, and Marisa finding a red crystal in the forest and getting sucked into it. You land and wake up at a beach and meet up with another Yukari, where she reveals that parallel worlds exist, and the red crystal that sucked the original characters into this universe, where everyone wears school uniforms for whatever reason. She reveals that Yukari herself placed the red crystal suck the L1 universe characters because there was a crisis going on in the various Gensokyos. Parts of the worlds are being concealed or disappearing on themselves for no reason. Yukari wants you to find the root root of this evil and stop it for good. She names the incident the Lost Word Incident.
Oh my god, she said it!
Which sets up the entire game's storyline. After beating up various enemies from Raisin to Seiran to Ringo, you figure out that in the end, you still have a lot of work to do to solve the ultimate Lost Word incident. Chapter 2 follows the story of you and your friends trying to solve the incident of the Z universe. You see the infamous Scarlet Devil Tower created by Patchouli, which was made to automatically construct and grow higher and higher using magic. The Marisa of this universe decides to go meet up with Flandra, and thanks to the Lost Word incident, becomes the Witch of Scarlet Dreams, an ultra powerful, more busted version of Marisa. After battles with random people and after beating her up for the last time, we know that she made a promise with Reimu to always be on par with their power levels. She knows that one day Reimu will pass her in her power level one day, since Marisa's only a human and Reimu is gifted with her busted abilities. She worries that Reimu will leave her for other more powerful people, though she eventually becomes the Witch of Scarlet Dreams to become the ultimate being. They eventually solve it out in the end. Chapter 3 follows the story of the tree, Saigyo Ayakashi, blossoming and remembering themselves in this universe. The Yalmu was given the power to cut through time itself. She traveled through time to revive Yuiko since she died when Ayakashi blossomed, but every time she tried, she failed to save Yuiko. The protagonist comes to this universe and find out that Yalmu was the one causing the Lost Word incident of this universe, and must try and stop her since Yalmu cutting through time really has screwed up this universe, causing holes and cuts through the world. After more garbage, the protagonist stopped Yomu and saved the world, I guess. Later there's Hifu Lost Word, which I don't really know. I don't really care at this point. I heard that Hifu Lost Word is the best aspect of Lost Word, but I just didn't care enough to read it because I don't really like reading. I know that there is Mecha Sanai and Small Junko, so yeah, I guess that's nice for some people. But it doesn't mean it's bad. A common praise of this game is the story being alright. It's pleasant if you are interested in lore, but for me, I just don't really care. But if you want to read a nice story, Lost Word is not a bad option, even though my summaries are, really bad. Well, all stories must come to an end at some point, and this video is no exception. I feel like this video is missing something important. Oh no! Gacha systems! Twitter said I have to hate them, so they're bad. Why are they bad? All jokes aside, according to Wikipedia, a gacha game is, quote-unquote, a video game that induces players to spend in-game currency to receive a random in-game item, unquote. These games are very, very controversial because, well, they're casino games with a different coat of paint. Think of Genshin Impact. It's an alright game, but in order to get new characters, you must spend your primogens in order to roll on banners to get new characters. It takes a very long time to get a 10-pull roll, which for me takes like 2 weeks. Of course, you can always give the people at Mihoyo your precious, dollary dues in order to roll some more. If you don't believe these games cause gambling addiction or some kind of problems, then there might be something wrong with you. It's even worse when these types of games target the most vulnerable and desperate in society, the children and the uninformed. Oh my goodness, we have a lot to take in. So, how does that affect Touhou Lost Word? In this game, you have to pray to get new characters and cards. The currencies that you use in this game to spend are crystals and rainbow crystals, as I call them. God crystals are your rations that you can get daily, but it usually takes about 2 days to get a 10 pull, and you can increase that amount by just playing the game more, so it's rather forgiving in that aspect. Rainbow crystals are rare, and you can only find them in quests. However, the prayers that you can use them on are really good because they guarantee you a friend, so I suppose that's nice. Though, as a person who has been playing this game a little too much, I'd say getting new characters has been a rarity for me. I already got the ones I wanted. Like PCB Yomu and Iki, most of them.
Hurry up, you dinguses, bring back Swako.
Another problem that I have that nobody seems to talk about are their costumes. Not because they're ugly or anything, quite the opposite, but look at their price tags. What? When you look in the store, you can see that you could spend like $19.99 just to get enough crystals for one of these costumes. Yes, I am dead serious. I only got this fancy Yuka costume because they were giving away 600 god crystals for free that one time. The costume prices are stupid, there's no other way I can put it, and seeing that the store is filled with packs upon packs of random crap that you can spend money on, it's even worse. Much worse than that, there are packs that are limited, and even worse, there are packs that you can only buy 3 times a day.
Okay, maybe that's actually a good thing. Maybe.
Banners too are limited, and seeing that you can only get certain characters from there for a limited amount of time, it's almost like the developers want you to spend money or whale out to get the character you wanted. Worst of all, you're not even guaranteed to get these character that you wanted throughout these roles, since a pity system doesn't really exist in this game. The pity system is when a game caps out your bad rolls in order to get a good roll. Take for example Genshin Impact. Again, players know that the pity cap is at 90, where you have a 50-50 chance of getting a 5-star character you want. Touhou Lost Word is different. Pity doesn't happen in the rolls themselves, but rather happen after a certain amount of rolls. After about 150 to 250 rolls on certain banners, you can buy the character outright, which I suppose is alright, I guess. Tell me if you think the system is better than Genshin's pity system. You know, I want to hear your opinions on this. Trust me, I rolled for perfect Cherry Blossom Yomu like 100 times one time, and I still couldn't get her. But I happen to be rather lucky with some of my pulls, so I suppose that's nice. Plus, seeing the nostalgia copy clone characters might be a way to make people spend more instead of improving the actual characters. Yeah, I don't know if that's scummy or not, but it doesn't sound good.
Wait. What are gacha games? Osaka, appreciate the games you have right now. It's only going to get worse as time progresses.
Despite Osaka's reaction being shared with many other people, I don't think the game is bad per se. I mean, it's not Phantasmagoria Flower View levels of good, but I think the game stands out and can pull its own weight. Though the gacha system is what really ruins and pushes the game away for many people. Seriously, talk to anyone in the community who quit the game and they will all likely say the same thing. The gacha system sucks, or the game got repetitive. But despite all this garbage the game has, I'd say it's worth giving a try. If you enjoy the story, RPG battle system, or seeing your favorite tall characters in the game, I'd say give it a try. If you like it, you like it. If you hate it, you hate it. Personally, I give this game a thumbs up for a nice attempt, so give it a try if you want.
Hey bro, can I have a sandwich? Okay, Osaka, you can have a sandwich. Come on. You know, this sandwich is pretty good. XD. Oh, hope I can have some more later. Oh crap, Osaka, are you alright? All because I didn't say your game was perfect.